Plug in.
Website
TNTRadio.live.
Check it out.
Today's News Talk Radio.
It's the coolest.
TNT.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the broadcast. We're still in the first hour. I'm your host, Patrick Henningsen. Thank you for rejoining us. And as mentioned before the break, we're going to pivot over to the West Asian region, particularly Turkey has been in the news recently. A lot of noise has been made and a few tremors, as it were, geopolitically, with Turkey signaling that it is interested in leaning east regarding BRICS. We'll talk about that with our next guest. She is a representative from Turkey's Democratic Party. She's also very experienced in the parliamentarian affairs of the country, its business and politics. Ilay Aksoy is joining us right now on the live link. Ilay, it's great to have you with us.
Hi, nice to see you again. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Thank you very much for coming, Ilay. Now, a lot of people were surprised to see these noises coming out of Ankara, and for good reason, because for so many years, Ilay, Turkey has been facing West regarding the European Union and European institutions, of course, as a NATO member. That's another part of it. But really, in terms of politics, trade, the future economy, what do you make of this latest statements that have been made out of Turkey? And do you think this is genuinely signaling a change of direction for the country?
No, I don't think it's a signal of a change of direction, because Turkey is in such a situation, a position, geographic position, that we can reach to Asia, West, we can reach to all over the world. So we have a very, very important geographic position in the world. So this is a very major advantage. Up to now, we've concentrated mainly on the European markets, but you have to accept that we have been waiting for European membership into the European Union for over 37 years now. But at the end, we are part of the customs, the European customs, and we have a very serious trade with Europe. So there are also our very biggest partner. With 2023, around 40% of our export was to Europe, actually. But at the same time, I mean, Turkey is a very young country. We have a very young population. And we need employment, we need trade, we need industry, we need export, and we need mass production so that the economy can be, can continue. So we need new markets basically for this. So for Turkey, it's very logical that we look for very different markets. BRICS right now is a very upcoming and very interesting union, because it's getting actually all the countries that Europe has for many years decided to look down on. But all the countries that are coming together in BRICS have a very huge population, a very large density of land, and a very, very serious buying potential. So when we look at it from the economic side of it, it's very normal for Turkey to be interested in becoming a member. For me, personally, I am very interested in Turkey becoming a member. I think it has a lot of advantages for it. Firstly, because of the trade route. It opens up for us a huge market that we can produce a lot of goods in. And plus, we can, the members of BRICS can also benefit from us from the trade routes. It makes it quicker for them to sell goods through Turkey to Europe as well. So it's a bilateral trade in many different ways, actually. BRICS will benefit from Turkey as well, and Turkey will benefit from BRICS as well. But what we have to also take notice of is that when you decide to work with another union, it doesn't mean that you're rejecting the ones that you're previously working with. So this is very important. I mean,
well, you say that, but America might not look at it the same way. Viktor Yanukovych, the former elected leader of Ukraine, wanted to have deals with both the European Union and the Russian CIS countries, which ended in his ouster. in 2014 after the Maidan coup. So it could be Turkey is a very sensitive issue for the United States. The U.S. has a lot invested in Turkey, geopolitically, militarily, economically, very tightly tied to the U.S. Ilay, how are they going to be able to navigate that?
Yes, of course it is. But you have to also remember that the U.S. has several different investments and interests all over the world that's also conflicting with Turkey. For example, southern Syria is one of them. For example, this is a major conflict between Turkey and America. For example, they're supporting what we consider terrorists. They're supporting in southern Syria, and for us, it's a direct threat to the sovereignty of the Syrian state, what they're supporting there. So we have a conflict of interest there, but it doesn't mean that our membership for NATO, we say we're not continuing, and they say we're going to throw you out. It doesn't work like that, because countries have very different benefits and very different interests. In some areas they conflict, in some areas they work together. But Turkey is not a country that they can just easily say, okay, well, we can do it without Turkey. It's a very strategic country, and no country, especially NATO, can really say, okay, we'll do it without Turkey. I mean, I can see I've seen some articles that are trying to propose that, well, we can take Greece in front of, in place of Turkey, for example. This is not possible because the position of Greece and the background of Greece is very different to Turkey. So every country has its own, how can I say, speciality.
No, indeed. And so right now, I know that Russia has, increased its trade relations. Obviously, tourism is big. Russians go to Turkey en masse, have done for years. There's a lot of money, Russian money coming into Turkey there. But in terms of being a BRICS member, what needs to happen? Do you need, because sanctions are also an issue, so more Russian banks in Turkey or Chinese banks in Turkey, Turkish banks in Russia? Are those the sort of changes you can expect to see? More commerce?
No, I don't really think so, because right now, I mean, not only Russia, but a lot of European countries also come to Turkey for tourism. Tourism is one of our strongest industries, actually. But one thing I just want to point out very strongly is that, for example, I've made a list particularly to explain to you. For example, when you look at the 27 European Union countries, around 20 of them are also NATO members. Then we look at the G20 members, then nearly half of them are again G20 members. Then if we look at BRICS, then the African Union, the Arab League are intertwined, and the G7 is also interlapped. So it means that all countries have actually the sovereign right to deal with many different unions in reference to their own benefits. And this is what Turkey is really doing. It doesn't mean that once you go and support a union or a league, that league absorbs you continuously. Well, I mean, we have been waiting 37 years. 37 years. This, for me, for Turkey, is an insult. So we continue with our trade because Turkey has a very big advantage that we can produce a smaller quantity of products in comparison, for example, China or India, and we can deliver in a very, very short time. So this is very important for repetition orders, especially for an ever-changing market, especially in the apparel sector. So Turkey has a lot of advantages. We have also we've invested a lot of technology in producing car parts, in electrical appliances, etc. So it's not a market that they can just say, well, it's, we can do without it, because also you have to understand that as Turkey has developed itself, it's also developed itself according to the European standards. So Europe knows the standards and the quality that they will get from Turkey. It's according to their own standards. So this is very important. But when you look at, for example, if Maybe the best comparison would be Norway, for example. I mean, Norway is not a European Union country. It's protecting its sovereign rights, and particularly its fishing industry, it doesn't want it to get infected by coming into these unions. But they're also benefiting from the union. So Turkey will also be like this. I mean, it's going to protect itself, but it's also going to work in these unions as well. So it's not as if, we're going to leave Europe or we're going to leave NATO and join BRICS as well. BRICS will be part of the economic plan of Turkey in order for us to develop furthermore.
Yes, indeed, it has. And Norway is a NATO member, actually. They are, but they're not a full member of the European Union. They have a special arrangement. They get the benefits of the common market, but not any of the downside of the political union, which is really problematic for a lot of European countries. Do you think there's a chance for that type of a deal to be struck with Turkey and the EU? More on the common market side, less on the political union. You also have the Schengen issue as well.
Yes, but Angela Merkel, before she resigned, she came to Turkey. It was her last actually foreign visit to Turkey. And she actually said to our president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, you will not be a member of the European Union. So it was very bluntly stated by her. So, Turkey has to look after itself, basically, because, as I said, we have a very young population and we have very serious issues with refugees as well. And this is creating a very serious economic problem for us. So we have to find new business partners. We have to find new markets. We have to find new employment areas where we can invest, develop, and also bring foreign currency revenues, etc. So, and what's also very important is that BRICS also has the development banks, the BRICS Bank, for example, where they're opening up new areas of loans, where they're investing in actually the countries trying to develop themselves furthermore. So this is also another area where Turkey can benefit from. I mean, at the end of the day, geopolitics is just basically benefits of each state. So this is what also we have to look after.
So right now, there's a lot of threats coming from Washington about secondary sanctions, about countries that are doing business with countries that are under sanctions. And the biggest sanctions targets right now by the United States are obviously Russia being the largest sanctions target. And then you also have Iran, probably number two. And then Syria has heavy sanctions on it from both the United States and the European Union. And so, so the threats are there. You can't trade with them. You can trade with them. You can't buy oil from them. You can buy from them. How does Turkey navigate this, being kind of in the middle of all that? How is it reacting to threats of counter sanctions?
Patrick, you have to really realize, that once you forbid or you create obstacles for a country, that country must find other ways to survive. And actually, all these sanctions that America is doing is actually making Russia stronger. They have to really acknowledge this. And Russia is becoming in such America is literally pushing Russia to be a further superpower, which is very ironic. This is what they're trying to avoid, but because they're putting so many sanctions on all the countries that they're working with, they're forcing countries to find their own solutions. So if so many sanctions were not imposed on, for example, many countries, then they would not work so much, or they would not prefer BRICS so much. I mean, there's, I think, around 15 countries that are now waiting, and another 20 countries that are actually, advised that they're interested in coming and joining BRICS. When you look at it, who are the countries that are trying to join BRICS? The African unions, the Arab Union, Arab League rather, and all of a sudden, all of the former colonies are starting to join with Russia. So this is very interesting. I mean, I think America and England, and in a way, in part Canada, has to really re-evaluate their foreign policies, because they're really pushing for the balance to be in the favor of Russia rather than against it.
It's extraordinary. So basically, the United States' policy, the kind of financial warfare it's waged against so many different countries, this is accelerating the development of BRICS, because before that, BRICS doesn't have anything driving it other than interest, and that's great. But now there's almost like an urgency to BRICS, because, as you said, people need to get on and do business. They need to survive. What are your thoughts?
Exactly. I mean, look at Syria. Syria is also has shown interest in becoming a member of BRICS. I mean, if you apply since 2011 the Caesar Act that was not even voted in the United Nations up to Syria, of course Syria has to find a solution to survive, and they need a solution immediately. I was in June in Syria, in Damascus, in Syria last year, and although the country is starting to get back to normal, there's a very serious economic situation there. So they need to find a solution for the people, because they don't want to give up their sovereignty. I mean, no country wants to give up their sovereignty. I mean, look, the elections of the European Union has shown us that even Europe doesn't want to give up their sovereignty. Even Europe is really against no border politics. The liberals, the lefts, the Greens have just, they've just failed. It doesn't correspond with the need and with the ideas of the people. Basically, people don't want to give up their sovereignty. If they're Swedish, they want to remain Swedish. If they're French, they want to remain French. And look at Macron; he's called for elections. Because countries that refuse to see the will of the people end up eventually losing. And this is the policies of the European Union right now. They've failed. They've failed, literally. So one of the few countries that have won, actually, because of their policies, of their sovereign policies, is Poland and Hungary, which for a very long time, European Union was calling them fascist and, seeing them as outcasts. So in reality, we have to see the trends of the people that is actually dictating what they need. So as we just spoke, I mean, these sanctions that are, how can I say it, so carelessly imposed on all the countries just don't work anymore. Just don't work. Because we have a younger population, with the internet, the world is interconnected, and they find very different methods of staying alive.
Yep. So there's options. There's a lot of options now. Just a couple of minutes left, and it's great to have your commentary on this. A lot of people are projecting Turkey to be a sort of emerging economy in the next 50 years because of its privileged position between the East and the West, because of its manufacturing expertise, abilities, the way the economy is being organized. What's the political outlook like for the next couple of years? I know your president is approaching retirement age. Who is the next leader, and are they going to be able to take Turkey in that direction that a lot of the economists are projecting that it's heading?
Well, Turkey is in a situation right now that has a very matured experience. So we are very quick to respond to the market's needs, because we've invested a lot of time and energy and investment in know-how as well. So Turkey is in a very positive situation. We have a very positive future. One of our biggest assets, actually, is, as I said, we have a very young population. So and slowly, I have to be honest here, we have had a very our foreign policy, especially with Syria, has not been correct, and we're slowly trying to correct that. So with Egypt as well, it was not correct. We've corrected that. So we're slowly correcting all our mistakes and starting to get back to normal with the region as well. Turkey's future is very bright. And the region needs Turkey as well. So it's only natural that BRICS would also want to work with Turkey, because the advantage for Turkey, for BRICS is also is much more. So it's very natural. It's a mutual relationship of benefits, actually.
Are you seeing an increasing Chinese presence in Turkey, in terms of business, finance, trade, and so forth?
It depends. For example, we sell a lot of natural resources as well. So our natural resources can also benefit from the high-tech production of China that they export. So what we have and they need, we will see how we can sell it, and vice versa. So it's not only one way, it's bilateral trade that we're interested in more, because it's only in bilateral trade that both countries can win. If you do it one way, then it's very difficult. But also working with Europe, we have very, very tight margins, profit margins. And right now we're trying to control our inflation and our economy, as you know very well. So we need very different markets to relax the production and economy-wise.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. I was just in Moscow recently, and there are a lot of joint ventures between Russian firms and Chinese firms, partly to bypass sanctions, but there's just huge markets potentially to open up. So, and the development, the technology in the automotive sector is incredible. The things I saw there in terms of product quality, it's even better than here in the United States. So it's quite exciting.
Turkey has a very, very serious production lines for cars, for spare parts, etc. We have a lot of investment that we have in technology here, and we hold a lot of potential. So anyone that really wants to open up to different markets, Turkey is the best place to be.
Ilay Aksoy, also from the Turkish political scene there, and the parliamentary experience that you bring, and your economic knowledge is much appreciated. This is an important conversation. I hope we can continue it. There's a lot happening, so there's going to be more headlines, there's going to be more announcements, but keep a close eye on Turkey and BRICS, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming on TNT this week.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to take a break right now, and we're going to go on to the other side with our political editor at TNT, Basil Valentine, with a world update, also a review of the European elections. What does it mean from Basil's perspective? All that and more on the other side. I'm Patrick Henningsen. We'll be right back.
Plug in.
Website
TNTRadio.live.
Check it out.
Today's News Talk Radio.
It's the coolest.
TNT.